to the computer. Yes. All right, cool. We are rolling. Okay, cool. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boston Men's Group. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Megan Marini, and I am super thrilled to bring you all Joe Ames. Joe Ames happens to be the fittest man in the universe?
World.
In the world! In the universe! So we're going to break that down. We're going to hear some of his backstory and where he's headed. He's definitely going places. And if you want to go from dad bod to the fittest man in the world, this is the secret recipe on how you do it. So I'm really excited to have you with us, Joe. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks
So let's get right into it. So tell us a little bit about sort of this provocative shift that you had and the courage that you had back when you made a decision to change the trajectory, I guess, of your life.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't like I said to myself, I'm going to be the fittest man on earth. It was just one of those things. I actually posted this on Facebook last week about a picture from me in 1999, and I was on the beach with my daughter, holding her hand. She was like 2 years old, and I was 30. 35 at the time, and I just looked. You know the term "finny." You're not fat, but you're kind of fat. And you're kind of skinny at the same time. Like just don't have a lot of muscle on my body. Yeah. That was me. And when I was 40, I tore my knee playing basketball, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to use the rehab, like the PT part of it, and I'm going to try to get my core in shape because everyone was talking about core back then, right? Yeah. So started doing little things. I started going to the gym with some guys at work, and then there were guys that ran, so I'd run a little bit. So I incorporated running and lifting, and then a guy asked me if I'd do the Pan Mass Challenge with him, and I didn't even have a bike. And I said, sure, I'll do that. So I went out and I bought a road bike, and I started biking. So now I'm biking and I'm running, and I said, well, if I'm biking and running, maybe I'll start doing triathlons. So I went out and I started doing little tiny triathlons, and this is when I was 45. And I said, my goal, I want to compete in Kona. That's where the world championships are for triathlons in Hawaii. And I said, I want to do that. And then I realized I wasn't that good, so I'm like, what? It's a quick story, but I was competing in a half Ironman down in Newport, or it ended up in Newport, started down in Narragansett. And there's 2,000 people doing this. And you line up all your bikes in the parking lot, and you look and you go, oh my God, how am I ever going to figure out where my bike is? Because there's so many bikes. Mm-hmm. And everybody starts out the swim at the same time. And when you're not that good of a swimmer and you come running out of the water and there's only like 100 bikes left, it's easy to find your bike. So I wasn't that good of a triathlon guy, but it took a lot of training and a lot of good eating and a lot of just everything you had to do right in order to compete for, 6.5 hours. Yeah. So anyway, I did marathons, whatever. And then I got into CrossFit, and I'll make this quick, but I get into CrossFit when I was like 48 and had no intention of competing, but one thing led to another. I got into a local CrossFit competition. I did really well. And then when I turned 50, I'm an age group fittest guy on earth. So 50 to 54 is an age group, 55 to 59 is an age group. So at age 50, I qualified for the CrossFit Games, top 20 in the world, went to California to compete to see who's going to be fittest on earth. And I did okay. Like it was a 3-day competition. I was in 5th place going into the last day, and I just fell apart on the last day. Just so sore, Megan. Like that type of soreness where if you haven't worked out forever and then you go to the gym and try to crush yourself on day one, you can't even walk down the stairs the next day.
For 3 days. Yeah.
That's how I felt, right? So I'm coming home, and I said on the plane, and I said, you know what? These guys aren't training harder than me. It must be my nutrition. It has to be. Because everybody had like supplements and bags of this, bags of that, and I didn't have anything. So I went to see this nutritionist in Boston. She's a nutritionist for the Boston Bruins. And she said, bring me through your diet. And I brought her through everything I was doing. She goes, you're eating better than 99% of the people out there. But if your goal is to win the CrossFit Games next year, you need to change some things. And she made some recommendations that were simple, but it included supplements that I had never, ever taken before, thinking that they were bad for you. And in reality, they're great for you. They just supplement into your diet where you're missing certain things. Well,
can you tell us?
Yeah, protein powders, creatine for pre-workout, branched chain amino acids, which are called BCAAs for post-workout so that you recover better. Greens. Most of us don't get enough greens during the day. You're supposed to get 8 servings of fruits and vegetables. Most of us get 2. So you can buy organic powdered greens. And if you're just an average person, you wouldn't know about this stuff. And I didn't. And I'd been competing. So she dialed me in. I eat 5 times a day now. I get protein at every single meal. I eat lots and lots of real food. But you know what? I'm pretty good about paying attention to what I eat. It's not to say I don't go off the rails, but when I go off the rails, I get back on the next day.
Right.
You know, if I go out and it's a Patriots game and I have wings and a burger and a bunch of beers and vodka, you know what? Yeah, I get banged up. But the next day, I start bringing it back in. It takes me now a couple of days to just cycle through all that stuff, but I get back on track. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, prior to you really getting involved in competitive CrossFit and high performance like this, what was like a typical day? What would you eat before? Like, were you fairly healthy with what you
really
ate?
Healthy. As a matter of fact, if you ate what if most people who are overweight and they're eating too much fried foods, or they aren't eating enough, or they starve themselves during the morning because they're in a rush and they have a coffee and a bagel, empty calories. Most people screw up breakfast. Then they get to lunch and they go out there with the people that they work with, and maybe they get a sub with some chips and a soda, and then they have coffee in the afternoon, and then they go home and they have dinner, and maybe they have a couple of beers and a glass of wine. You do that day after day, guess what? You're 35 pounds overweight. And I'm sure there's people listening to this call that are going to be like, yep, sounds like me. There's easier ways to do it. And that's what I do. I recommend easy, simple changes to people's lives to help them get going in the right path, get going in the right way. I have a meal replacement shake every day to start my day, every day, because most people screw up breakfast. Most people aren't going to sit there and make eggs with bacon and gluten-free toast. You know what I mean? Most people aren't going to do that.
I totally get it. So what I see as sort of the barrier to adoption on this is really this discipline and a behavioral change on a
no question. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, you wake up, you do what you've always done. It's just, that is how we work, right? We're so habitual.
Think about your business world, right? If you are not seeing the desired results in what it is that you're doing for work, you change.
Yeah.
Right? The world isn't going to change. You need to change, right? You need to change your habits. Are you making enough calls? Are you following up the way you should? Are you getting up early enough? Are you exercising? It all comes together. So to me, it's like, if you want to perform better in the boardroom, you need to perform better on your own health. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, I look at life like it's an 18-hole round of golf. And how you play around holes 16, 17, and 18, which would be the last years of your life, is totally up to you. That's where it's not about how many hours you're working when you're 75 years old. It's, did you treat yourself good in your 40s and 50s and 60s to be able to live life at a 10 when you're 75 years old, as opposed to you're flying down to Florida and you look in the gangway, where you're walking down into the plane and you see the wheelchairs lined up. Is that how you want to be at 75? Right? So can you make simple changes to your lifestyle today that's going to impact you later on in life? Absolutely, you can. You're just being lazy if you're not. And it is discipline, but that's life. You either want it or you don't.
Yeah, and I saw, I don't know if it was Gary Vee, but I saw somebody post that the other day, that the biggest thing that you can do to grow your business is work on your own personal discipline. And just to kind of segue into business a little bit, I guess I'd be interested if you could sort of pull the curtain back for us all as far as how you making these behavioral changes with your health, with your personal fitness, how that trickled over into your business world. And did you see your performance and your ability to show up in the world change?
No, that's a great question. So my professional background is corporate America up until a year and a half ago. For the last 21 years of my corporate life, I was vice president of sales for a large national clothing brand that sells around the country. So we sold to retail. I started with them when we were doing about $21 million. And when I left, we were doing 220. So we had a really nice run. It was awesome. But you know what, if you're getting close to my age or you're at my age, you probably feel the same way I do. It's like, when is this going to be over? Like, you have a certain passion in your life. You have a passion for what you're doing right now, right? Mm-hmm. Gary Vee, you mentioned Gary Vee. He talks about follow your passion. Well, I was very passionate in growing that company for all those years. But at some point, and it probably was when I started getting competitive into working out, I really enjoyed the working out part of it, or else I wouldn't do it. And I said, how can I help more people? How can I impact more people? Because what I was doing was good for me, and it was good for the people maybe that were buying my clothes, but I wasn't changing anybody's life, you know. And one day this guy came to me in my office, and he's really, really overweight, like 250 pounds overweight.
Right.
And he came to me and he's like, hey, can you help me? He goes, you're the fittest guy I know. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, I can help you. So we sat down, we figured out what he was doing. We made some changes. He lost 100 pounds in about 9 months. And I remember saying to myself, that was pretty cool. Like, I absolutely positively added years onto that guy's life. I made a difference in his life. And that's when I started to say, I can make a business out of this. Yeah. And I, you know, I'm in network marketing, and regardless of what, I know you appreciate what network marketing is, but a lot of people look at it like, oh, it's one of those pyramid schemes. It's this, it's that. I look past all that. I wrote compensation plans forever where I was, and I've never seen a compensation plan like you can get in some of these network marketing companies. And I said, you know what? I could go that route, and I could do this for the next 30 years and be really passionate about impacting not just one person, but I could impact 30,000 people if I build a network of people that are committed to good health and either making themselves wealthier, or maybe they just want to get healthier, whatever. I don't care, you know, but they're under my umbrella and they're part of my network. And I'm impacting 30,000 people as opposed to just the guy who was in my office. And all of us who are 50 plus see the end of the road in terms of how long do these guys even want me there? Meaning, how long does your company actually want you there?
Right.
We're all expendable. You think you're badass, but guess what? There's another badass kid coming up behind you that wants to take your place, and will do it for less money. So I had that. I was weighing that too. I go, when are they going to be ready to let go of me? It's like, are the Patriots going to be ready to let go of Tom Brady, or does Tom Brady want to let go of the Patriots? There's going to be an ending. Somehow, some way, there's going to be an ending. And I wanted to write the script as opposed to somebody else writing the script.
Sure.
So here I kind of am. And that's how the professional, the corporate side led into this new career, my Encore career.
Yeah, I love that. It's so inspiring. I think mostly to me anyway, from my perspective, in that there is this stigma with the MLM and the network marketing, but where you came in, you used logic and reason, and you looked at the numbers, right? And then you said that there's an opportunity and I'm going to go for it. And there's something about your personality and your sheer passion and your drive for this, where I feel like you don't carry the stigma that I feel like most people do with MLMs. It's like there's something about who you are that I feel like it knocks all those barriers right down. It's like you're trustworthy. People get that. I don't know. It just has this feeling that like anything you're going to do, you're going to succeed at. I think there's really this clarity around where you're going. I think that's
very nice of you to say. I just, you know, like if you want to be, I always knew when I started competing, when I went out for that first time to go to the CrossFit Games, and I'm competing against people from all over the world, you're nervous, but then you realize they're old dudes too. They're 50-year-olds too. Like, what, I can do it. If they can do it, I could do it. And that's where my mindset was. I'm going to win this thing next year. And I went back and I won. You know, and then it's like anything you want to do in life, if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And it's a cliche, but within limitations, within reason, you can accomplish it, right? Like I wouldn't say that I can go out and replace Tom Brady. That just that's not feasible. But when I walk up to a network marketing event and I see some guy that's making, you know, $3 million a year pushing supplements, and he's my age and he used to be a state cop, I say, why not me? right? Whereas a
Yeah.
lot of people would say, oh, I could never do that. I say, what's to prevent me from being the number one income earner at this company? That's how I approach network marketing. I vetted out who the company was, what their compensation plan was, do their products work. I mean, went through all that stuff. Like I would look at any job that I was going to take. I would look at all those things. Who's the ownership? What's the debt ratio? I would look at all that. And I did. And then I said, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do this. And the people that fail in network marketing, Megan, you know this, the people that fail at network marketing fail in life. Like they're the people that don't show up at work on time. They don't do the amount of calls they need to make. They don't put the effort in that the winners do. Like there's winners and losers in every organization when it comes to sales or productivity. And the people that can get canned, why do they get canned? Because they don't show up in their own life. The people that show up in their own life are going to be successful. That's all there is to it. The people that fail in network marketing, if they were real estate agents, would never sell a house because they wouldn't show up on the weekends to show the house. They wouldn't get the listings that they're supposed to get. They wouldn't show the house in the right way. It's simple. It's simple. So the people that fail give network marketing its bad rap. That's the deal. Because you know what? It's never their fault that they fail. It's always, oh, the company sucked. You know?
Right. I don't have what it takes.
Only the people at the top make the money. You know?
Yeah. They didn't give me what I need, or I don't have what it takes. Like either one of those narratives. So what would you say, just to kind of bring it to a positive on this piece of like, you're a powerhouse, right? And I think that you're a heavy duty recruiter. Like you're really like serious about this. What are you looking, what criteria when you see someone, you're like, that person's got it? Like what are those things that kind of stand out to you as somebody who's building others up?
Yeah, that's a good question. So on my team, I do something different that most do. Like most people approach network marketing from the bottom up. Okay, they sell products. They're salespeople, is what they are. I approach it from the top down. I look at it from financial opportunity. It's an unbelievable financial opportunity. We just so happen to have great products attached to it. Totally different. Totally different than me talking to you saying, Megan, you want to hit your January 1st reset and lose a couple of pounds or get toned for a vacation you're going on, as opposed to, hey, Megan, I do these calls Monday through Thursday, 7:30 at night. It takes about 40 minutes. I do it with another guy and we explain the financial opportunity. You should jump on. I can show you how you can build this alongside your current job. That's it. So we do all the heavy lifting on these calls. I do them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. They're awesome. And we leave it up to you to go out and find some other people that would love another financial opportunity. I leave it up to you to go out and find some of your friends that are looking to build a residual income, as opposed to, the old time for money thing where you work till you die, So I try to do it that way. I do help people out physically because I do enjoy that part of it. Most of them are reaching out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say if somebody is struggling with their mindset? Because I remember a time in my life where I started learning about mindset, and it became very clear to me that I had a bad mindset.
Yeah.
I perhaps showed up, did all of the work, but at the end of the day, I was resistant to seeing that it was actually all like in my lap, that if I wasn't doing something right, it was more about sort of the grit, the investment that I wasn't making to perform better, right? I would definitely see things as circumstantial and almost like a victim mentality. And it was so stark to me. I just was like jaw dropped. I was like, I can't believe I've been diminishing my own ability to grow because I'm seeing myself as not the person in charge of my growth. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. I was so bummed out. I'm like, and frankly embarrassed of all the people that I work with that had heard me say things that were disempowering. And now I can sense it right away from other people when they have this, oh, well, I didn't know that when I did it, or I did. It's like, listen, nobody's judging anybody. Just own it. Let's go. Let's do it. So really, for me, it's been like this force kind of started moving through me where I can just stay in action now. And I don't have to have this crappy backstory that like, this is why that happened. I didn't do it right. Like, who cares? Go. Just keep going, keep going. And that to me makes me sort of a fiercer entrepreneur than I was 3 years ago. But it was this sort of painful awakening with mindset. And I don't know, I think it relates both to sort of that, rebuilding of muscle when you're really overworking, you're, trying to get to a new level of health. I see it relating to taking yourself to a new level in business too. It's like, what advice, like what books would you say to read, or is there anything that you can give people that are listening today that like, what would you suggest they do to kind of push through that?
Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you read that book and then you listen to Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar or any other great Tony Robbins, any other great motivational speakers, it all goes back to Napoleon Hill. And, he talks about mindset, and he talks about, negative self-talk. And he talks about, you have two, picture the positive being a positive person on your left shoulder, the negative person being on your right shoulder. They both have to eat. Whichever one you feed the most is going to grow bigger. Right. Yeah. So if you feed yourself with negative self-talk, you feed that negative person is going to get bigger and bigger. That negative person is going to be the one that develops the stories about what actually happened in your life. Because you nailed it. Like, you have what happened in your life, and then you have the story that you developed in your own head about why this certain thing happened. You got fired from your job, and your story is, my boss was an asshole. They threw too much work at me. They did this, they did this, they did this. No, that's your story. What happened was you got fired. And then when you really start digging in, you say, I used to leave early. Because I had to get my kid, and I would leave at 4:30, and there was staff meetings every day at 5, and I couldn't make those. Well, okay. You got fired because you didn't make the staff meetings. It wasn't because your boss was an asshole. You follow me? So It's like you said earlier, you wipe those stories away. Own what it is that happened, fix it, move on.
Yeah.
Or else that baggage, that story leaks over into other areas of your life. And that's what feeds this, that's the negative self-talk that feeds that person. And then, I do listen to a lot of, Jim Rohn. I try to start my day off positively, either by reading something that's positive.
Yeah.
Or by meditating, which I haven't done a lot of, but I'd like to do more of that. Or if I'm in the car, which is most of the time in the morning, I'll put something positive on. I won't listen to talk radio or any of that other crap, because it really doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't start me out the right way.
So do you watch TV at night and stuff?
Sure.
Or are you
just finished Peaky Blinders?
Oh my God, I love Peaky Blinders.
Freaking awesome.
That's my jam. That's my jam. I'm crazy about them. Yeah.
No, that's something I listen. Me and my wife, we like, that's our kind of our time together, when we sit in the same room, and we always, I do watch TV. I do. Not a lot, but I do. Absolutely.
Cool.
But I do my calls at night. So like, I work, like I'll go to the gym, and my morning is awesome. My morning is, I get up, I go to the gym, I meet some friends there that aren't working either. They're retired. And, I work out for a couple of hours, and then we sit at the gym has a kitchen, and we'll have breakfast and coffee and talk. And then I get home by, 12, and I start my day in the afternoon, and I work and I prospect, and I talk to people on my team. And then I do my call at 7:30 for an hour, and then I'm done. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So can people work with you outside of like being on your team? Like, they can just get supplements and stuff from you and coaching from you, or how do people sort of?
I mean, all I do is I set people up with wholesale accounts, whether they're, let's just say you just wanted some product. Great. I set you up with a wholesale accounts. No different than you have an account at Costco or BJ's or anything like that. You have your own online account, and you order what you want, you get a 25% discount. You might then say to me, hey, listen, I know these products are working unbelievable for me. I have a friend of mine that wants to use them. And I'd be like, Megan, let me show you how to make some money so you can get them paid for free. Like, that might be your only goal, is to get free product. And that's cool. And then
I know other people just don't want, they're just like, I just want my product. Like, they're just
fine. 80% of the people that I work with, 80% are just customers.
Like that. Yeah. I think most people are. They're like, not, it's just like being an entrepreneur, but it's even further. To me, it's even like, I think that because you have this whole other model that you're in, where entrepreneurship yeah, it's just a different type of person. You almost, I think that they've even done studies around the brain of an entrepreneur has unique places of extra activity, right? It's like high tolerance of risk, things like that. Whereas, you know, regular people maybe don't have that, you know, so they don't have that desire at all. So it's like, it's just like, you just got to let people kind of do what they need to do, you know, like everybody sort of has their own path, or I don't know.
You know what, though? It's a lot of times it's, you know, you hear about Simon Sinek and he talks about what's your why.
Yeah.
And listen, there's a lot of people out there with health issues, but everybody needs more money. Like everybody is looking for more money. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett, he's looking for more money.
I thought of him. That's what I thought of. I'm like, I don't know. He wants to pay more taxes. God love him.
He might give it away, but he's not looking for companies that are losing money.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He's looking for other income streams. So everybody could use someone like me in their life.
Yeah, there you go. That's how I feel about me.
Just say, at least teach them what's possible, as opposed to just shutting the door. You asked it. I'm looking for people that are open. That's it. Take a look jump on my call at 7:30. See if you like what you see. If you do, great. Join me. I'll teach you the business. If not, I'm cool.
Well, cool. Well, thanks so much, Joe, for hopping on. Tell us, what's the best way to reach out with you? Do you have a website, an email you can share with everybody today?
Yeah, it's joe@joeames.com. What else would it be, right? And I'm on Facebook too, Joe Ames. You'll see me. But yeah, direct message me, email me. I'm good. I'd love to talk to anybody in the group.
Great. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thanks for having me, Megan. You're awesome.
Awesome.